I would say the three major values is the quantity of meetings, just pure pipeline has gone up because we've been able to just add more seats to increase the outbound efforts. The second is the cost per meeting has gone down because of the offshoring model. And the third is that we've been able to experiment much more quickly.
All right. Trisha, I'm so excited to have you here. Welcome to the Exordiom Talent podcast. For everybody watching, I'm Neej Parekh, and today I'm joined by Trisha Kothari, CEO and founder of Unit21. Unit21 is the leading customizable no-code platform that helps organizations combat financial crime, including fraud, money laundering, by providing AI detection, tools, investigation solutions, and compliance operations across industries related to banking, finance, and crypto. Trisha has been an amazing partner. She's been working with us at Exordiom Talent, leveraging our offshore go-to-market resources, and built a outbound engine using our folks. And so today we're going to talk about the challenges she faced. We're going to talk about why she chose this model, potential skepticism that her team had, and overall, how has this been working and the impact on the team. So firstly, Trisha, thank you and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Neej, for having me.
So Trisha, tell me a little bit about Unit21 and your go-to-market motion today.
Yeah, so Unit21 provides anti-fraud and anti-money laundering software for fintechs, banks, financial services companies. From a go-to-market perspective, we today target really a wide range of companies. Our customers include companies like Intuit, which is a Fortune 500 company. You may be using QuickBooks, TurboTax, many of their products. And we also work with 3% crypto companies pre-launch. So it's really a wide variety of companies, and which makes the go-to-market motion really interesting because, of course, you have to target differently for different types of businesses. But in general, I would say it's a combination of inbound and outbound. And in particular, for the bigger accounts, outbound is really key to make sure that we are constantly in front of these accounts.
Amazing. So Trisha, I'm sure you were facing challenges in go-to-market, challenges related to scale. It was challenges related to things not working, figuring out your ICP. Can you walk us through some of the primary pain points and objectives you were thinking about solving while you were exploring Exordiom Talent?
Yeah, so we've been having BDR since day one, and it's a really big core focus of how Unit21 sells today is through BDRs. But hiring good BDRs in the US was very difficult and very expensive for us. We had very high turnover rates. In a company like Unit21, there isn't a very clear BDR to AE progression pathway because some of these companies that we sell to are much bigger companies. Um, and so it was very difficult to keep the BDRs. Turnover was really high. And training new hires meant that we are consistently needing time from leadership to just train, not even to build pipeline. So those are the types of challenges that really made us start looking at, okay, what are different solutions and what we've been doing.
That's amazing. And Trisha, I don't think you're alone, right? I think a lot of companies that are going through the kind of scale that you guys are going through, you want to focus in-house talent, your management and your teams to build sort of amazing playbooks, but then you want consistent repeatability, right? And gone are the days where you can promote every BDR to become an AE, and every great BDR wants that promotion, right? So I think this is a classic conundrum, similar to even things that I faced when I was operating and building a lot of these teams. As you mentioned, there's no just clear progression path. So Trisha, tell me a little bit about your thought process. I'm sure that your immediate go-to sort of motion wasn't, let me go and consider offshore resources. You're exploring a bunch of different ideas. You started to see this pain around BDRs from a promotion standpoint, from a potential onboarding and ramp standpoint. What
Mhm.
kind of what kind of solutions did you sort of imagine going through? And then eventually, as you sort of picked Exordiom Talent, what was your initial skepticism?
Yeah, as we were thinking of, okay, what are the options ahead of us? Just purely using internal BDRs as a source is not really something that we can position because of this lack of a promotion pathway for every BDR. And so when we started thinking of the options that we had, there were a couple of key points. One was that We wanted speed. We didn't want that every single time we work with a partner, it's going to take a long time to ramp up. It's going to take a 3 to 6 month hiring lag, which at that point, were we even going to get any benefit? The other important point for us is cost efficiency. We are definitely seeing increase in labor costs across the board for SaaS companies, and that was also something that was top of mind. And then finally, one thing, we tried different offshoring agencies. Exordium wasn't the first, but what we realized is we didn't want to be stuck in a long-term contract until we can actually see that, okay, how does this work? Will this work for us this time? And I'll say that a really big differentiator was that we had never come across an agency which gave us a flexibility, gave us a test before you deploy kind of approach, which Exordium had. And for me, that was even before, apart from just that benefit, it gave me a lot of confidence that you guys have a lot of confidence in the BDRs that you're hiring and the BDRs you're training and what you're building. And that was really key for Unit21.
Bit of what you're sharing is this role BDRs outbound go to market in general is a KPI driven function. If you're not performing, you can't continue, right? And I think a lot of the CROs, a lot of the CCOs, they end up held hostage by the low performers because they know that the recruiting efforts are brutal. They are not getting recruiters spending time on BD roles because they've got to hire more senior account executive roles. And specifically, we work with companies that are looking to 10x, 100x. So when we do that and working with amazing folks from your team, what we noticed is you guys have amazing playbooks. You guys know what your emotions are. You guys are also doing a few experiments. You're going SMB, you're going enterprise, mid market, but you have some level of conviction where these playbooks will work to 80% or 90% of sort of the degree. You're not leaving that to the BDRs. And when we're seeing operators leave that to the BDRs, whether you're hiring offshore, whether you're hiring onshore, it's failure mode. So
hmm
tell me a little bit about that. How did you drive for, in-house BDR teams, our BDR teams through these playbooks? What kind of asks did you have from your go-to-market managers to create these playbooks?
Great question. So, we had these playbooks that we had for the inbound teams. And so we really asked our BDR leader that, okay, focus on building more of these playbooks for the team to execute on and almost treat them like your internal rep. And what I really like about Exordium is also that you can request that the BDRs be meeting in person, which and have a team leader, which has also really helped us a lot. I'd say overall, I was very confident that this will work out, but we had one experiment where we offshore in the past and it didn't work. And I would say Exordium's been really great because we've been able to get more meetings and the cost per meeting has gone down because of offshoring. And I think one of the unexpected benefits is what you mentioned is that we can test out things today. If you want to try out new messaging or go after new ICP, it's not like, okay, I can only plan that for next quarter. I can do that tomorrow with Exordium, which I really love.
And Trisha, on that note, we talked about the integration with your team. We run into just general skepticism when companies look at offshore is, can these people integrate with my US based resources? Can these BDRs connect with my AEs? And will the AEs have enough respect for an offshore team? Obviously, behind the scenes, we try very hard to bridge the cultural gaps. These people generally come with at least 5 to 7 years of experience. So it's not like they're stepping into the working world on day one. I'm sure there is a conscious effort from you, your managers, your team to integrate all of these folks. But as you see, just generally the world shifting across your customer base, across what's happening internally at Unit21, how well has this team got integrated? How are you treating these resources? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so the offshore BDR team from Exordium is fully embedded in our sales process. They're in our CRM. We track and hold them accountable, just like we hold our internal BDRs accountable. We have daily stand-ups, weekly pipeline reviews, just like our local reps. They're part of our Slack. So we really treat them like any other rep. And by integrating them into the culture, it becomes a much easier way for us to see results quickly.
Yeah, and they're all just sort of working your time zone, right? And I think that's the other flexibility that you get is yes, it's the middle of the night when it's offshore, but they're used to doing this for the 7 years of their lives. So it's
Mhm,
not new to them. And as you'd also mentioned, we give a lot of flexibility to our customers to create a variety of experiences that they might want to create for these offshore teams. So, as you mentioned, stand up meetings, integration on Slack, communication methods. We have other customers asking us to build physical office locations for them in the Philippines. So, we're very happy to see the level of integration you and Unit21 have been sort of able to do for this team. And that's exactly what has driven success. So let's transition to that success and the Unit21's results so far. One of the things that we're proud of is being able to fulfill this team in record time. We were able to place your
mhm,
entire outbound team in under 2 weeks.
mhm.
Tell us about your experience there, and then of course, like the KPIs, especially when you compared them to a previous BD program that you had.
Yeah, it's been great. We were able to get started really quickly. As you mentioned, within 2 weeks, we were able to get up and running. We added 4 BDR, so we were able to add significant capacity. It wasn't like we were just adding one or two more people. We were able to have people in the same time zone. We had previously tested with a Serbian offshore BDR team. They were working in a different time zone. We weren't ever able to get them aligned into, okay, what is Unit 21 and how should the messaging be? So that's been really great. I would say the three major values is the quantity of meetings, just pure pipeline has gone up because we've been able to just add more seats to increase the outbound efforts. The second is the cost per meeting has gone down because of the offshoring model. And the third is that we've been able to experiment much more quickly. I would say this is a really underestimated benefit is that we are able to test new markets, new verticals, new ICPs really easily now with Exordiom, where Exordiom is able to take on more of the core tasks the playbooks that we have, and we can focus our in-house BDRs on more experimental work that we need them to do.
It's amazing. That's music to my ears, Trisha. Thank you for sharing your honest opinion on that. Trisha, before we leave, a lot of leaders in your position, a lot of CEOs, CROs, heads of go to market, they are struggling with this. And the main pain points that we typically hear are we don't have enough budget to scale fast enough. The KPIs or the end goals are not changing from a board level, or if you're a public company, the expectations are very, very high, even if you've raised a lot of capital. What kind of advice do you have for some of these leaders to potentially consider a scenario like this? And then maybe if you can also, you're front and center with AI and everything that you're doing in terms of product development, build, and sort of end outputs for your customer. Of course, AI is going to become an integral part in how we deliver great customer experience, how we deliver a response to inbounds or outbounds. Can you marry those worlds in terms of advice for other CEOs and maybe heads of go to market in considering solutions like Exordium Talent?
Yeah, great question. I would say the biggest advice I have is that a lot of the BDR offshoring slash paper meeting type of models have failed for many companies. So there is this entire feeling that, okay, this is not going to work. But what I really liked about Exordium is you can try and get out if it doesn't work. And I highly recommend CROs and CEOs to give it a shot because you are building something very different here. And in terms of AI is a really big tool for us. Our entire BDR team uses it a lot. We've made it almost a center of how the BDRs work instead of it just being a tool that they use once in a while. And it's been greatly helpful, but we don't today see a world where the BDR job is fully eliminated. And the reason is that we still want to make sure that we have that degree of quality, we have that degree of proofreading to make sure that the emails that we are sending are correct. As there's a lot of things that we want to do across different channels that still today require BDRs to be thoughtful about how they can approach more than just pure email writing. Um, and in general, what I really like what you mentioned about building different playbooks. For us, that's the main focus. Is AI might help, personalize some of these emails. AI is not going to be able to make you figure out what is the right playbook for you. And so it gives us more time back to think about, okay, what are the playbooks that we should build that we can then deploy offshore BDRs on and get action really quickly on it.
Wonderful. Trisha, thank you. This has been extremely insightful. Really appreciate your time and especially coming and sharing your personal experience. If you're a leader looking to scale your sales coverage, reduce cost, and ultimately build a global go to market engine following things that Trisha and her team have been able to do at Unit21 can be greatly beneficial. So you can learn a little bit more at exordiumtalent.com, and really appreciate everybody tuning in. Trisha, thank you once again. Great having you at the podcast.
Thank you, Nish. Really appreciate it.